There has never been a more important time to move in a vegan direction. Whether you're ready to start, restart, or re-energize your vegan or plant-based practice, this podcast is for you. I'm Michelle Olander, life coach, vegan, ADHD matriarch, travel lover, and smoothie loather. And I know that it's the details that get in the way of your vegan journey. But I like to believe that the obstacle is always the way. So every week we meet here where I translate the tools of life coaching and Stoic philosophy. I bring you actionable tips, some laughs, interesting guests, and vegan ideas for everyone at any age. All to help you veg your best. Episode 258, The Road to Hell, and why your plant-based intentions aren't working. Hi, my Vedge Your bestie. You know, if you're like me, if you're a morning person, maybe you wake up thinking this new day is a fresh slate full of opportunities and the perfect canvas for all your good intentions. Maybe you're going to eat a certain way, shop more consciously. Maybe you're going to speak up, keep your peace, feel clear, feel committed. By dinner, a lot of it may have fizzled out. Or maybe if you're more like me, focus challenged, maybe you kind of forgot about what it was you were planning to do. The details kind of slip your mind. There's an old saying, very old as it turns out, maybe medieval, that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I know, dramatic, but it's actually kind of, I don't know, I think a lot of us might find it accurate when it comes to behavior changes. And behavior change has always been tough for humans. Because good intentions without a plan, they just don't take you where you want to go. So we've all heard about my excusitarian phase when I was vegan, except when I had a good excuse. Well, during my excusitarian phase, I used to wake up thinking, today I'm going to eat plant-based all day. Or, I've got to go on holiday. I'm going to make sure my sunblock comes from a cruelty-free company. I need to do a little research. Or, I was going to pick that up for the kids, but nothing with leather trim, nothing with leather straps. I'm going to stick to what matters to me. And I meant it. I would always really mean it. But the further I would get from that fresh morning energy, the more things would get in the way. A work thing, an invitation, a birthday dinner, a special on Costco rotisserie chickens, which everybody seemed to like. So I'd shrug. And I'd say, okay, the day's shot. I'll try again tomorrow. And if that's familiar to you in any way, you're not alone. And so many of us do think we are the problems. We are the one that are like that. But there's nothing wrong with you. In fact, it's not the bug, it's the feature in human beings. It's not a discipline problem. It's not about willpower. It's really about not having a clear plan for what to do when things get hard. So telling yourself, I'm not eating animal products today, that sounds like a plan. It sounds like a plan, but it's not. It's a rule. And a rule doesn't help when a friend invites you to brunch or your partner serves you something you didn't expect. You're tired, you're hungry, you're triggered, somebody brings you a present. That's when your brain needs something much more specific, something really specific, like what do I say? What do I do? What do I do instead? What do I eat? And if your brain doesn't know ahead of time, it will almost always go back to whatever it's always done. Because your brain has clear evidence that historically that has worked. That has kept the peace, it has increased connection, and it has kept you alive. And it knows how to do it. It's efficient. And you may think, okay, Michelle, I've been listening to this podcast for quite a while, but honestly, shouldn't I know better by now? I should know better by now. And maybe you've read the books, and maybe you've watched the documentaries, and maybe you know clearly what happens to animals, and you know how food affects your body, and you've spoken with your doctor, and you understand the effects on the environment, but knowing is not the same as knowing how. You may even find yourself discounting the progress you've actually made so far. You've made changes. You've made them. And you tell yourself, not enough. And it's taking too long. Or it's too late. This is where so many people get stuck. We confuse awareness with ability. And just because you know something doesn't mean you've trained your brain and your muscles to do something different. So when my good intentions fall apart, all I'd have left is, oh my gosh, I should have done better. Oh, I dropped the ball again. What is it I did? What do you do? Do you blame yourself? Do you walk around feeling kind of ashamed? Are you distracted and wondering why it's so easy for everybody else? And then maybe the next day you wake up and you go, okay, all right, I've got this. We're going to try again. And maybe you got even more pressure and maybe even a little less confidence, but still no plan, because you are thinking that the intention is the plan. And every time you repeat this cycle, you lose a little more trust in yourself. You feel worse. So you tend to get numb to the idea. You kind of check out. You eat or you spend or you go along just to feel better in the moment. And this kind of low-grade shame tends to create the very behavior that you've been trying to avoid. So what is the solution? Well, it's always a plan. It's not a rule. It's not a wish. It's not an intention. A plan is something your brain can actually follow through with when those moments get tough, when you feel kind of triggered, when you are depleted and can't think of another creative solution to another thing. What do I do when someone offers me something I don't want to eat? What do I say when I'm the only one ordering something different or asking for something different? What's my go-to move when I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed and stressed and I just want some comfort? And of course, this applies no matter what. Whether you're trying to eat more plants or spend less or speak up more or hold firmer boundaries at work or declutter your home so maybe you can put it on the market or move. It doesn't matter what that intention is. It's not just when you're trying to eat differently. It's not just on a vegan journey. It's true in any area where you're stuck. And am I saying that good intentions don't matter? No, of course not. Good intentions matter, but they're only the first step. They are the part, well, I call it the V in the VEGAN vegan framework. The V is for vision, the intention. That's the vision, and it's essential. Because, well, if you don't have any intention, it's probably not going to happen, right? So it is critical. But too many of us think that setting that intention means everything will fall into place. But setting an intention, it's just the beginning. And if you're an idea person like me, you have so many excellent ideas for yourself and for everyone around you. Really, really first-rate ideas that should have gone into effect yesterday at the latest. But relying on the idea and on the intention and believing it should be enough, that's how we get in trouble. And so yes, it is a part of the plan, but for a lot of us, maybe most of us, it just isn't enough. And can I say that regarding those people we see who seem to have just, come up with an intention, just set that intention, and then all their behaviors seem to fall, fall perfectly in line to support that intention, that is much more often just what it looks like to us from the outside. I think a lot of people thought that I just became vegan overnight out of nowhere, but that's because they didn't see my excusitarian phase. They didn't see me struggling for a while. They didn't see me trying things and then not following through and changing my focus and hiding behind excuses and slowly learning something about what does work as well as what doesn't. So, my Vedge Your bestie, if you are looking at some aspect of your life right now where you've been setting those intentions that you can't seem to follow through on, or what is it my friend says, your mouth is writing checks that your can't cash. You are completely normal. You are completely normal. You just probably didn't realize that the intention is just the invitation that you've sent to yourself. Now you need to prepare for the party. Without a plan, good intentions become the very thing that actually make you feel worse because they don't necessarily lead to action. They can sometimes just set you up to fail. And by the way, that's kind of a universal experience. It's not you. That is why that expression that the road to hell is paved with good intentions has become a cliche. It is a universal experience. Now, in the next episode, I'm going to walk you through some of the simple, specific steps for handling cravings and triggers and excuses that come up in the moment. And those are going to be general because I think coaching is the most efficient way to come up with these things. But for now, remember, if you've been relying on should, it's time to build a plan. For many of us, there is a moral component to a vegan or a plant-based practice. There is, but that can also make it harder for a lot of us to support ourselves with a big behavior change like this. It can actually serve to make us, kind of shut down and become more avoidant. So that's why I think coaching is definitely the one process that I know can really help support you when you're trying to translate those abstract good intentions into real change. Now, you can follow along on my Substack if you'd like. It's pretty new. How You Go Vegan, where you can see me translating my abstract ideas of a book into a 30-day real first draft. We all struggle with these things, right? And I might put some parts behind a paywall at some point, but as of this recording, everything I'm doing on Substack is visible to any free subscriber. So I would love you to reach out. I would love you to comment over there and let me know where you're stuck or where your intentions, whether they're for 30 days or longer, where your intentions and actions aren't supporting each other. But wherever you are feeling stuck this week, you're normal, and you just veg your best. Veg Your Best podcast production, music, and editing by Charlie Weinshank. Thanks, Charlie. Before you go, it would mean so much to me and the Veg Your Best team if you would hit subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, or share with someone you think might be interested. Something about algorithms, it helps bump us up a little in the rankings, and that's the best way to help others find the podcast and for us to find our audience. So, until next week, make it easy and veg your best.